are listening to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Fouché Way with Brandon Fouché, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Fouché Way radio show, live every Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m., sponsored by the nonprofit organization called Canine Hope for Improvement Program, where we hope to improve the quality of our dogs' lives by moving towards a no-kill society. The number here is 818-602-4929. Well, the other day, a male friend of mine asked me, why do I talk about treating and seeing dogs as though it's a relationship? The reason is emotions. I'm dealing with both relations with an emotion. Now, I must say I haven't been very good in my personal relationships in the past. I wasn't very good. And not that I wasn't a good person. I wasn't bad. I just wasn't good at effectively communicating because I didn't know how to listen and observe what they were saying to me until I got involved with working with aggression in dogs. I had a problem being me. I said it. How could I be what you want me to be? In other words, how can I give you what you need to be happy, comfortable, and calm and still be who I am? I didn't know how to do that. But I learned to know myself and my limitations, truthfully, without delusions of grandeur. And once that was understood, I was able to move into other areas of limitation until they too were understood. This was part of the development of the success of rehabilitation in dogs too. I was truthful with myself, and so I was successful with rehabilitation. I simply said, why not go with my personal relationships the same way? I look at them from the inside out, studying the emotions, how to make them feel, how they make me feel. And I apply that to my human relationships too. Little girls can play with dolls and learn the emotion of love. Boys can play with dogs and learn to love without roughhousing with them, learn to understand them emotionally, hormonally, respectfully. When I meet a new dog for the first time, I'm respectful. I'm trying to send that kind of message. I don't want to excite them. I want them calm. So I don't reach out to rub and touch inappropriately. I don't grope and roughly handle them whenever I want. I don't pull and stroke their hair without their permission. I wouldn't do that to a new woman until she gave me the okay. Dogs will give you the okay, but you gotta wait. And sometimes they don't want to be touched. They're just checking you out. This is how people get bitten and sometimes slapped. You gotta wait until you get the message. When you relate in this calm way, you will find yourself not always trying to tell your dog what to do and how to be. Let them make a decision by thinking as opposed to spontaneously reacting from excitement. You then become a mediator. You've heard me speak of this in the past shows. I would let my woman be who she is, not tell her what I think she should be doing. I would just be there for her, for her to bounce things off of. But if she got out of control, I would dominate her. Now remember, I've said many times there is a difference between discipline and domination. Discipline is physical, and that's not what I'm talking about. But domination That's emotional. Pack leaders are experts at communicating when you're out of line. So I would do that. I would dominate. And with that being said, I want to relate to you. I once heard a woman say something, and I will never forget it, and I completely understand it today. She said, "My husband thinks that he's the head of the house, but I'm the neck that turns the head." And so, I know what that means now. That's one of those limitations I'm talking about that I don't cross. So at this point, I will just bark and maybe growl. But some of you women will bite. You hear people talk about the lock and jaws of a pit bull. That's not true. It's the woman with the lock and jaws. A pit bull in a skirt. That's the one I'm worried about. So give your mate what they need. Give your dog what they need. They will be a lot happier than giving them what you think they want. This is something that we will need to talk about a lot. How love and affection, training, treats, and the wrong way to give positive reinforcement. We want to talk about that. I don't want you to be positively reinforcing negative behaviors. And that's what we're doing when we try to do positive reinforcement. Mm-hmm. We don't understand how, why, when, and where we should be doing it. And I want you to know, I really want you to know, I really learned to understand love by dealing with aggression, trying to help by understanding. It made me patient, understanding, and cooperative. And that's how I would treat my woman. That's why I talk about relationships that way. So, with patience, understanding, and cooperation, you can make it happen in any relationship with your dogs. Just ask my next guest, Jo, and her husband Bill, who is also living in her guest house, her ex-husband. Talk about being able to get along. That's really interesting. And she has 3 dogs. So, Jo, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am just fine. I know that Bill is somewhere around listening to you, and that's good. And
yes.
I wanted to have you on because you have a very interesting story. You have a very interesting life there. And you had 2 dogs that were initially getting along fine.
Yeah.
And then one day they began to fight. You want to tell our listeners about that and tell us your journey?
We had one dog, and we had 2 golden retrievers who sadly died, and came along someone who needed a home for their dog who was, lost their house, and this was the white husky with the beautiful blue eyes, and wasn't he fun? He had been in 2 homes. He was 4.5 years old, and he was difficult. Huskies are difficult, and he was a little out of control, and you know what? Mm-hmm. He was so cute and adorable that we let him be that way. It didn't bother us, and it didn't bother our old girl, Katie. Mm-hmm. However, 2 months ago, we were contacted. There was a boy in the shelter, a boy dog who I call now a cross between a golden retriever and a lion, a gigantic yellow dog who was going to be put down that afternoon, and we put a hold on him, and then there was no one. I said, well, if nobody else takes him, well, there was no one else to take him, but I had room because I only had 2 dogs. Initially, they got in one small fight, Dave, the golden, the big yellow dog, and Nikki, the husky, and then it was over, and they got along great. Mm-hmm. A month later, it happened again, and then it happened consistently after that. And we realized this is something we couldn't handle. Of all the shelter dogs that we've had in rescues, we could not handle these 2 dogs. Something was wrong. And as you pointed out, when we finally chased you down and got some time with you, miraculously, you pointed out that my husband and I, Bill, mm-hmm. were pack members, and we were not the leaders.
Right.
And that built the insecurity in those dogs, and they had to make their own decisions without any help from us. We had not given them boundaries, especially initially with the husky. We had not given him boundaries. He wailed and barked and howled, and we thought, oh, isn't he cute? And he wasn't interfering until we got a dog who was an alpha or thought he was an alpha and said, that's enough of that.
He saw that you weren't in control.
We weren't in control, so he was going to be in control.
Exactly.
And that set us off on a really, really bad course, and we've had several months separating them, one in one bedroom and one in the other bedroom, and walking them at different times. Now, they had also gone to dog park together and run loose in the period when they were getting along, and were fine with other dogs. It was just the two of their relationships, and we realized, as you pointed out, that they were so jealous that about our time and which of us, Bill or I, were going to pay attention to them. And we realized that all our relationships, as you talked about, were totally out of kilter. We had not, like a child, we had not given them any boundaries. And so we came to you, and you counseled us how incredibly wussy we were. We were just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we were not working with this. We were not working as adults or as parents or as dog owners.
Yeah, I was giving you the perspective
so it
from
was
your
like
dog.
a parent, trying to be a friend to their child.
Yeah.
Which is like we know is a really bad thing to do. We were coming down to, like, even when I was hugging and kissing them, I would go, oh, whoa, 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 and come down to their level, not asking them to come to me if they wanted affection. So what I was doing was actually what you say is reinforcing all the bad behavior by coming down to their level and not making them secure in the knowledge that Bill and I were the pack leaders.
Absolutely.
And we were not assertive. We were not dominant. We were not creating a hierarchy. In the natural way of things, we weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So we came to you, and we got, you gave us your time, and you evaluated the dogs and said, yeah, you've done all the wrong things.
Yeah,
And,
when
go on, I'm sorry.
When you have dogs, multiple dogs in a home, this is where people go wrong. Because dogs are like people. There are no two people that are alike, and there are no two dogs that are alike. They're all different, okay? And when one dog sees that another dog is out of control, but in their mind they feel that they are above that dog, and they see that the dog that they believe that they should be above is controlling you, then they will take over the whole pack. And when they fight, it is like to the death. And it's very easy after they continue to fight for them to fall into that pattern, And and the husky, the husky, and you can go to my Facebook page and you'll see both of your dogs there, and in helping to rehabilitate them. As you'll see, they'll see them with muzzles on, and there is a reason for that, because the muzzles, I want to see how they're going to fight, not with the muzzles on, but fight to get the muzzle off. A lot of people think that when dogs have these muzzles on, that for some reason it's going to create more stress and more aggression, but that's not really how this works. And since we were just doing an evaluation on your dog, I wanted to carry the evaluation from my place into your home. So I wanted to keep them in the same mindset from the time it took you to get home from my place to your house, so that it would transition over into that, and that you will get the results right away. And so, go on.
Right away, we set up the failure exercise. They seemed fine with the muzzles when they came in the house. This was Monday night. I went outside, rang the doorbell. They rushed to the door, all three of them, barking, screaming, yelling, carrying on. And Bill threw the book down, the big book. He took the big, gigantic book, threw it down on the floor. It made an incredible noise. He got their attention, and then ordered them to go away from the door.
Right.
And guess what? They haven't done that since.
Exactly. Now I want to say something to you.
I mean, not that I made a mistake the next day, which you can ask me about, but it's like that was an incredible realization that we had to get their attention.
Yeah.
We had to make them focus on us and what we wanted.
Right. Now I want to say something. When you got and you got big dogs there.
Yeah, huge. Half lion.
Right. When you got two big dogs that are fighting, they can do a lot of damage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been to the hospital with them, to the vet, to get them fixed up. And, if they continue to fight and you're not successful in stopping them, then the inevitable could end up happening. And, some people actually get hurt.
Yeah.
And in dealing with your dogs, we need to find out if your dog is mentally dominant and physically submissive, or physically dominant and mentally submissive. And along with that, we want to make sure, is this dog an alpha? Is it a beta? Is it a subordinate? Or is it a runt? And then we want to find out, is this dog genetically, on a scale of 1 to 10, is it genetically controlled by what nature is telling it, or is it something that it has learned from us? And based on evaluating the dog to determine all of these things, then I will determine the method that I'm going to want you to do in order to get the results based on the genetic condition of the dog, the mindset. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you go home now with your dog, and we're talking about a couple of hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the dog's been with me, and you've been separating for months, and you're all living in the same room. You're sleeping in the same room at night now, right?
Yes, we are. They're at night, their muzzles are off. They're tethered on either side of the room. They could reach. I mean, and it's like if they show the slightest, we become incredibly aware. And
now, hold on a second. Hold on, I want to carry you right through it.
Okay.
They're in the room. They're sleeping with you. There's no signs of aggression. Right?
No signs of aggression at all. They don't feel it. But if there were, we are now conscious and ready to get their attention.
Okay.
We don't let it slide anymore. I'll deal with that later. And pass it off like, what can I do?
Good. That's what we're looking for.
So,
now, this is
that's what you've done for us is you've really seriously made Bill and I totally aware that we have to be the parents, as if we had two little children in the house and not let them hurt each other.
Well, I always look at dogs as though they're 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds are me, mine, right?
Yeah.
And what they've got to know, what your dog's got to know is they need a routine. And that routine, they can't fall upon it. You have to set it out and lay it out for them. Like when we were kids, my mom used to lay my clothes out for me in the morning. Okay? This is what you're wearing to school. This is your uniform or whatever. She got tired of me saying, I can't find my shirt. I can't do that. Look, this is all here. And we've got to set it out for our dogs that way. And the moment that you started doing that, it's like, okay, everybody up out of the room, everybody outside. When you have a fight like this, sometimes one dog won't want to go outside with the other dogs. Okay?
That's right.
They're fine when they get out there, but they don't want to go out there. And
right.
So here's the mistake.
The husky doesn't want to go outside.
Right. Well, here's the mistake that people make. When they see the dog being resistant, the owner takes a dominant stance in that they go over to the dog and they grab them by the collar and they try to lead them out.
Yes.
Now, that's number one mistake. You will start a fight quicker than anything else you do.
Yes.
Because the moment that you grab the collar, which is attached around the neck, this sends a signal that you are challenging the dog. Yes. Especially dogs that have the potential to be dominant and aggressive. And when you do that, when they're being stubborn, backing away, and you grab them like that, they can turn and discipline bite you. And when that happens, they usually do it in a way that they give out a noise. And this noise is a mixture of dominance and fear. It's easily detected by the other dogs. And when the other dog that it was having a problem with hears that sound, then it's on again. They will join in thinking that you guys are in an altercation. And you will have a fight again. Okay?
Yes, yes.
So,
yes.
Right. Did that happen?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the mistake was. It's exactly what I did.
Okay.
And the husky wouldn't go outside, and the big yellow dog, I grabbed him, and he squealed and yelled and carried on.
Yeah.
The big yellow dog came running in and dived him.
Right.
However, I was able, which we could not do before because I was alone this time. Bill wasn't there. I was able to
yell
at the
Right.
big gold dog and say, "Get out, back up."
Right.
And he listened to me because I had his attention, and then I was able to get them apart and stop the whole energy. And I actually saved the moment by really, really, really yelling at the top of my lungs
Right.
and standing there really strong, which I don't usually do. Usually go, I would normally go like, "Oh, you guys, stop that. Come on,
Right,
But
right.
no, I was really clear and very simple and very clear, which is what you told me to do.
Yeah, and I told you to do that because once the evaluation was over, when I talk about whether a dog is mentally dominant and physically submissive or physically dominant and mentally submissive, once we were able to get there, then me telling you what to do was easy.
Yeah.
And so
now
we
got it. We understood what you were talking about.
Okay,
It took
good.
a while.
Yeah, it takes a while. And then you got them outside, and once they're outside, they're fine.
They were totally fine.
Okay, so now you know not to grab the collar. You know what I told you to do to take the dog outside. And if you do it each time that way, you're going to be fine. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, I want to talk to our listeners. I want you to tell our listeners. I know Bill's not there, but he's probably listening.
Yes, he is.
We don't get dogs to be dominant over them. I say this many times. We get dogs to save their life and to show them love and positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
So the things emotionally that I'm asking you to do, I know they're difficult. I know because we're talking about emotions. We're talking about, I look over and I see that big yellow dog or I see that pretty white dog and I just want to go over there and kiss him and hug him.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I just want to hug them and kiss them
Exactly.
and sit there and outside and watch them play and.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you can't do that, but right now you've got to reestablish the relationship.
Yeah, I know it's it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I do say that.
Because it's not what we've had, with so many dogs that have come through our house, and not having a serious problem before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really hard for us. And we're old now, and it's like, what do we need to do this? It's really hard for us, but it's like I recognize the stress that we were under before Monday. I mean, when we saw you, it's like we were under tremendous stress ever since the big dog had been here. And actually, ever since Nicky had been here, because he never paid attention, and we didn't require it. But we realized that we were not serving the husky by letting him, carry on the way we did. And actually, Dave's arrival, the big yellow dog's arrival, pointed out how deficient we'd been.
Mm-hmm. And, we tend to think that, the dog is just chatting with us when it's howling and barking when we're trying to tell him to do something.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Yeah, of course it is.
It was cute, and we thought, he's talking to us, yeah. And it's like, wow, he was dominating us. Yes.
And, if people think, I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to Bill, but people think, the guy's fine with all this. Sometimes it can be more difficult for the guys.
He was. I mean, I was more, well, as a mom, I was more demanding, and Bill would go, and he wouldn't follow through, so then we'd get in a fight about not following through, and it's like the stress on our relationship, he and I, yelling and screaming at each other about how to handle the dogs, and they're hearing, it's like it became chaotic. The whole thing became chaotic.
Yeah. But, it's been a couple of days now. Everything has been fine. The dogs were with me for a couple of hours. We got all the information that we need to know about the dogs to carry you, to the place that you want to be. All you got to do is diligently follow it. You got to call me, and you got to keep me informed about what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be uncomfortable for a while. But look, you have had more success within a couple of days than you've had in the last 7 months.
Actually, yes, it's been 3 days, and it's like, I don't expect miracles, neither does Bill, but we expect to do the work. We'll do the work. Mm-hmm. We will really, really do the work.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I have it all written down in notes. It's like what to do, when to do. It's like that old Dr. Spock book with how to raise children. I have Brandon's book of how to change the behavior. It's like that. It's like this morning somebody asked me. It's like, well, where's Dave? I said, well, he's being behavior modified.
That's right.
He's at home behaving, modifying. Please.
Well, that's just great. And you're going to keep this up, and you're never going to stop rescuing dogs.
No.
And before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Donnie, because Donnie is the one who actually led you to me.
Donnie is the kindest, most generous. He and Donna are the most kindest, generous people. And it's like, Donnie was the one who brought Dave to my attention. Mm-hmm. And Donnie said, we got to get this dog out. He's a great dog. And it's like, Donnie is like, what can I say? He's this wonderful, wonderful, and Donna, the two of them together are like, could save the world.
Absolutely. And one day I'm going to get him on
Brandon,
the show.
My God, it's like without you, it's like here, we were really in serious trouble.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get Donnie on the show one day because he understands. And Donnie paid a terrible price to understand this,
Mm-hmm.
And, he's gone, it hasn't slowed him down a bit. But we want to get him on one day, too, because he understands this. And, he's very instrumental in helping not just you, other people. And he's really into the rescue thing.
Yes, he's very generous with his time, his energy.
And his money. And he rescues dogs all over the place. He doesn't hesitate to do it. And so I just wanted to give that shout out to him because, I respect him a lot.
Yeah.
And, Joe, I can't thank you enough for being an example of the Fouché way, because I've always said that we don't have much time to save the life of dogs. And if my information can help you within a matter of hours, those people who were having years of frustration, then we need to talk about this to other people and start Facebooking and telling people to download the app for the LA Talk Radio program here. Download the app so that you can listen to it everywhere. Every week we're going to be talking about something different. It's a new story for someone. And there's like, when I tell, meet people or, everybody's got their dog stories. Yeah. Exactly.
And fortunately for most people, they don't go through this because they have one dog, so they live through it. But one dog people shouldn't have to live, with that kind of stress and anxiety with their dogs anyway. So It's not just people with multiple dogs.
Mm-hmm. And there was something I forgot to give you, which was something I made up. Well, when you take a new dog home from the shelter for the first week, what you should be doing. And then I'm making up one for multiple dogs, which I want to give you also. But
thank you.
You're very welcome. Joe, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank Bill. You guys are a wonderful couple. And I will be talking to you tomorrow because you're going to have to check in with me to make sure everything is going good.
I know.
Okay?
I know.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon, so much. You are just amazing.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. All right. Our next guest is Vicki and Tim. Vicki, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Vicki, I'm so happy to have you and Tim on. I know, Tim, we're going to talk to you first, and then I want to talk to Tim briefly, us guys, because part of this is like a guy thing, And I used to always tell this story about a friend of mine who had a dog, that his wife was very much attached to, and he'd come home from a hard day's work, and he's just so tired, man, he just wanted to lay down. And his wife would say, hold on, honey, aren't you going to jump in the shower first before you get in the bed? And he says, yeah, honey, I would. And then he told me the story about him turning around and seeing the dog in the bed that he had just let outside in the backyard, who ran through the dirt, was in the bed before him. So we got kind of one of those stories today. But first, I want you to tell people your journey with your beloved dog and what you went through. And I want to tell people how we got to where we are today. Vicki, can you tell us about your dog?
Okay. Tim got me a cute little fat puppy pit bull, and I seen his picture, and I just fell in love with him. And at the time, I was diagnosed with lupus, and I was very sick. And we decided to get the puppy because I was home by myself a lot because of Tim's hours at work. We had to transfer from St. Louis to L.A. due to our work, so I didn't have any friends. Mm-hmm. And I left my bull mastiff with my daughter, and his name was Hank. And so he passed away, so I named this little puppy Hank William. Mm-hmm. And he was a perfect little companion for me. He started, of course, my balance was off. When Hank got bigger, he lets me use his body to balance. He eventually learned to retrieve things for me even. And he still, to this day, will help me get in and out of the bathtub. So he learned, just because of our close relationship, mm-hmm. different things that he learned on his own. He does know how to open a door. I don't care what kind of door it is. Mm-hmm. He knows how to open a door. Mm-hmm. We had a very close bond, but in this time with me being sick and this close bond, he loves Tim. But it got to a point when he got older that he did not want Tim around me. Mm. And he started attacking Tim. If it wasn't for you taking an interest, we would have had to put Hank down this last time because Tim had to go to the emergency room, had stitches in his hand. Before that, Tim had to have a skin graft to his thumb because this dog flat means business. He doesn't want Tim around me. The vet seems to think it's due to me being sick. Mm-hmm. And but I can't walk him anymore. Mm-hmm. He does not want any type of animal or person around me. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want Tim even in the house.
I'm laughing, but that ain't funny.
I mean, he doesn't even want Tim in the house, and I keep him in the bedroom and have to board up the door because the dog knows how to open the door. He, this cute little puppy just turned into a monster. He weighs 80 pounds. He's all muscled up and good as gold with me. I couldn't ask for a better companion.
No, wait a minute.
But he does not want anyone else around him.
So wait a minute. You're boarding up the door from the inside of the room?
Well, no, from the outside because he can open it up.
Okay, so you and Tim, you live together. Okay?
Yes.
And mm-hmm. So he's in the bedroom with you, sleeping in the bed with you, right? The dog.
Yeah, well, okay. It got to that point when mm-hmm. I was really sick.
I understand.
Because I would be up and down, and I told Tim, I said, it's time, because Hank was sleeping with me and Tim both. Mm-hmm. And it just, because of the hours that Tim would work, I just started going into the other room. And then that's when Hank would go with me. Now, when this first started, Hank would take turns, sleeping a little bit with me, sleeping a little bit with Tim. And then I got to the point where he started sleeping with me, and then Tim was, when he got older, I guess he thought Tim shouldn't even be in the picture at all. And then he just didn't want anybody around me. An animal, he doesn't want any person. I can't walk him. I have to take him on walks that I'm better now, and I'm getting around real well. I can't even take him for a walk unless it's around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to Tim, too. I want to give you guys a break, and I want to get this guy with me, okay?
Oh, well, you better pack a lunch, Brandon, because this dog is something else. I mean, he's something else. He thinks he's a person.
Huh? He thinks he's a person?
He thinks he's a person. He doesn't even think he's a dog.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he thinks he's a person because I talk to him like he is a person.
I'm sure you
because,
do.
He was my only friend.
Yeah.
And that I know I was wrong in doing this because I have not let him be a dog.
Well, you did this out of love and affection. This is what I talk about, how love and affection can create aggression within our dogs, okay? And that's why I mentioned...
There's not a day that doesn't go by I'm not kissing him and holding him. Well, he just has meant so much to me.
Now, I don't know. I want to talk to Tim. I know you told me that he can do something. I'm going to ask Tim to make sure I got this right. Can I talk with Tim for a moment?
Okay. Hang on. I'll get him. Tim.
I want to ask Tim a question, and I got to understand.
Hello?
Tim, this is Brandon. How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep. Yeah, I can hear you, Brandon. Yes.
Tim, I want to ask you a question, something that I want to make sure this is correct. Do you tell me that when you come home, this dog jumps out the bed and locks the bedroom door? Did I hear that?
Several times. No, several times. If I'm in the room, he will go in the room, and if the door's open, he'll headbutt it and close the door. And then he just growled, let me know that I'm not supposed to go in the master bedroom. And seriously, he's very controlling. This dog, like Vicky would say, he used to be a good friend of me too.
Yeah.
Okay. The dog himself, at one time, we could hang out. And then he got to the point where he just got to a point where I was in the picture and he didn't want me in the picture. And he just literally shut me out of the house. When I come home from work, it's late, like 11 o'clock. Okay, so I walk him, and he's waiting for me to walk him. He's happy as he can be. So then I walk him, and I go to the front door. As soon as I get in the front door, he turns around and he wants to attack me. And Vicky has to come down and get him so I can even come back into the house. And that's his attitude. I've had several, in the last year and a half, I've been out of work several times because the dog has attacked me. But it's when I'm on my days off or when I'm on vacation. He doesn't want me in this house. I'm supposed to just come home at 11 o'clock at night or 12:30 at night, whatever, and walking, and then I'm done. He doesn't want me in the house no more after that.
Well, okay. All right. So what happened? A mistake was made, and he opened the door, or the door was open. How'd you get attacked the first? I mean, was it? I don't know how many times. He got out of.
Well, I got attacked at least 5 times. Believe me, in the last 2 years, I probably haven't. I've been out of work at least a year and a half. To be honest with you, but the last time, we're in San Pedro, and so when the wind blows, I open the front door, the front door, the wind blows in, and Vicky might not have closed the door all the way or something. All I know, I was out on the patio, and the door opened, and Hank came around the corner, and I didn't know he was in and out, and he looked for a tenth of a second into my bedroom, and then he saw me on the patio and came straight at me. And right now, I probably have 30, I think the doctor said 36 stitches in my right hand and 8 in my left hand. And when he's out, he wants to attack me at every chance he can.
You know, I want to say something to people that are listening. When I was a kid, I worked at a pet store. And I used to come in the mornings during the summer, and I would feed all the animals. And there was a monkey that was in the middle of the pet store in a big cage. And I would feed that monkey every morning, and we were the best of friends. I put my hand, give it to her, and she would go through the hairs on my hand, and we were just lovey-dovey until the owner sticks his key in that door of the pet store, and she would turncoat on me. Okay? This is jealousy. This is jealousy. This dog is jealous of any relationship that Vicky might have with anyone other than himself. Okay?
That is so true. That is so true, because what's going on is when Vicky leaves the house, Hank will go around and smell everything. Mm-hmm. And then he's happy. Then he's happy with me. Then him and I we pat each other. His tail is wagging and stuff. But as soon, I don't know if he understands or the sound of her car or what, but as soon as Vicky gets back, she is at the front door. This dog will turn on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll turn on me, and I'm fighting for my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand it either. But jealousy, that's probably what it is.
Oh no, that's what it is, buddy. I mean, this monkey would violently attack me when he stuck his key in that door. So I know what's going on here. And that's why I want to say I'm going to show you how to get past this, how to make this work. Because I think right now, you're sleeping somewhere else.
Well, they're in the master bedroom. I'm in the one of the other bedrooms. Yeah. And that's how it's been. That's how it's been really the last year and a half.
Yeah, and we got to change that, man. You know, I'm going to show you step by step. I'm going to talk to Vicky step by step how to regain control of that doghouse. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure a dog like that has got to be a beautiful dog.
Oh, no, Hank is a beautiful dog. I tell you, people when I could walk him, everybody would say, "Oh my God, that's a nice looking dog. Do you ever have a puppy? I want to buy one."
Right.
But they just don't know. They don't understand Hank's personality.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Tim, how does this make you feel? I mean, seriously now. I mean, how do you feel? I know you like the dog. You may even
how
love
it makes
the dog.
me feel?
Huh?
The honest truth is, I'm already beyond saving this dog. I'll try anything because of Vicky. Mm-hmm. But this dog, if he doesn't change, he got to go. Mm-hmm. Because it's already past the point where it's not safe for me to be in the same house.
Yeah.
And now it's the point where I got to make a decision. If Vicky don't make a decision, one of us got to go. Mm-hmm. This dog either has to change, or I have to find another place to live, because I can't even. Because I'm worried about him. Vicky, this morning, Vicky was making coffee. I said, "Vicky," and I was talking to her, right? Mm-hmm. Well, next thing I know, I thought that because she let Hank out in the morning, I thought Hank was coming through the door. I ran to the door and I closed it as fast as I could, and it was Vicky. I heard her because I thought Hank was coming through the door.
Mm. Yeah.
And yeah, so something has to change, and let me give Hank another chance, because Hank is a dog that everybody likes. But Hank is only loves Vicky and nobody else. And this dog even attacked her daughter when her daughter came from St. Louis. So his personality is Vicky only. He loves Vicky.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to explain all that to you, how that pans out, what's happening in the dog's mind. This is what I mean by understanding things from the perspective of the dog's mind, from nature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And,
yeah.
I'm really, anxious to help you, number one, because, I'm from Missouri myself, St. Louis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know.
Yeah, man. So I really, this is a very interesting case. And I've had cases like this before. We had a case similar to this with a dog named Jordan. That was his owner has, bless her, but she's passed on with cancer. But the dog wouldn't let anybody near. And this happens a lot, more than what people know. And sometimes when people hear me say things like, love and affection can create aggression, and the way that we emotionally communicate with our dogs can actually be the opposite of what we really want. And a lot of people say, well, you're crazy. We're just trying to show this dog love, and anything other than that would be cruel. But you guys are a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because Vicky has treated this dog as a kid. So either this dog at one time in his mind thought that eventually he's going to be a human, or he more or less has taken over the house where Vicky is his girlfriend or mom or something. But this dog really has got to the point where he doesn't want anybody around her, and he doesn't care who it is. And he looks out the window all the time. He barks at people with a outrageous roar, and he just don't want nobody around her.
Right. I'm going to show you. I had a doctor once ask me. She says, Brandon, where is your scientific evidence about the things that you're doing with dogs? And, my information comes straight from the source. And with this dog, I'm going to prove to you the information that I'm talking about in terms of learned behaviors, genetic behaviors, alpha, beta, subordinate, or runt, how the environment dictates how a dog is going to be, whether they see their environment as a predator or a prey. I'm going to explain all that to you and implement that with this dog so that you can see clearly, and we're going to follow this story clearly, how and what this is when we're helping you out. So I just wanted to let you know that. I want to thank Vicky and you, Tim, for coming on, and I want to thank Joe and Bill for coming on. And we're going to talk after this, maybe tomorrow or so, and see about getting this guy in so you guys can get some rest, get a break.
I'll take any help I can, because it's definitely beyond what any person that should be. This dog has gone beyond that, and I shouldn't have to go through this.
No, you shouldn't, and I want to help you out. So I want to thank you again, and let's talk tomorrow or the next day, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Vicky.
All right.
And we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
I have another caller.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
No, go on. I have another caller, Richard. Richard, you're still online, right?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. We're running out of time, but you've got a really interesting story, too, with your dog that I want everybody to hear. And it's almost kind of good that we didn't get to you today, because we've got some video that I want to put up of you. I don't know if you remember, because your dog was going after small dogs. And the expression on your face when we did that exercise, we don't want to waste it to the end of this show. We want to start fresh with you next week, okay?
Okay.
And I can't wait to talk to you. And I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the show. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on, and that we will have you first thing next week, okay?
All right.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you very much. And we'll talk. And you know what? We may even try to see if we can get – is that your wife or your girlfriend?
She's my girlfriend.
We may even try and see if we can get her on too. I don't know. Maybe we can. That would be interesting because she's got a really great personality. All right?
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Richard. I'll talk to you then. Bye-bye now.
All right, Brandon.
Once again, listeners, thanks for tuning in to the Fouché Ray Radio Show, and we will see you again next week, same time, same place, on the Fouché Way Radio Show.
You're listening to Fouché Way with Brandon Fouché, right here on LA Talk Radio.